Yo.
What up? What up?
What up, though? What's happening, man?
Episode 197, man. We approaching the big 200.
Ooh.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's something big.
And we approaching the midnight hour as
per usual.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Carpet Football Podcast. He is Juan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit them with a drink of the day.
Listen, man, we got a healthy alcoholic beverage this week. We're gonna say it's healthy, and we're sticking with that. This is the V8 Coco Loco. It is way better than it needs to be. Like, this shit is delicious.
Good,
you wouldn't even expect this at all. So it's in a shaker. Put a lime wedge and about 5 or 6 mint leaves. Muddle that. Add ice. 4 ounces of V8 mango peach splash, basically, and then 2 ounces of coconut Malibu
Actually,
rum.
not the splash.
Just the regular.
We went
V8.
with like the 100% juice.
So V8 mango peach juice. So 4 ounces of that. 2 ounces of Malibu coconut rum. We're bringing that back. It's still summertime, so we're still on the rum kick. Shake that up really nice. Pour in a rocks glass full with ice. Garnish with a cracked mint, and enjoy. These things go down way too smooth. I think I'm on number like 15. I lost count. So good. And you said 100% juice. You know, you're getting some vegetable servings in there.
Vegetable servings, some fruit servings. You got some vitamins and antioxidants and all that shit.
Yeah, and then the alcohol kills, all the bad shit too. So, this is great. Mint, there's fruit, there's actual, there's green in there. So,
That's right.
The mint is kind of like a salad. And
I feel like this is a good drink if you're sick.
This is true. You make it hot. But super delicious, really good. I've had like not that specific V8 juice, but other V8 juices with like vodka. Didn't really care for them.
Oh, really?
This shit is amazing. Smells good, tastes good. It's awesome, and it's not hard to make. It's really simple.
Yeah. This is definitely one that's going in the rotation.
Oh yeah. It's cake. They said.
And this is like
juice, the rum,
yeah,
mint, and a lime wedge. I mean,
guys, girls, like whoever.
Yeah, everybody will love this.
This is good.
Yeah, I like this, man. It's good. It's gonna have to go into the rotation for sure.
Absolutely.
Oof.
All right, man. My Carpet Football of the week, or our Carpet Football of the week, is going out to Mr. Michael Bloomberg. Yes, former mayor of New York City. Yes, billionaire extraordinaire. Michael Bloomberg. He has like a sort of a philanthropic, I guess, arm of his business.
Okay.
And he has given grants worth $600 million and to some colleges, but this is for HBCUs.
Oh wow!
So specifically for HBCUs, and only for their medical universities. So. Also, I should say they're medical colleges, right, within the university.
So it's specifically catered to. Is there a reason why he specifically catered to HBCUs and the medical? Like why he targeted that?
Yes. So he did, because he did also give it. Like this kind of came a few weeks after he announced he was giving Johns Hopkins Medical School, which is a huge medical school. He gave them like $1 billion.
Oh, geez.
Now there's a lot of prominent doctors that come out of that.
Is that paying off their
come out of
student
that
loans?
school.
What's that doing? Is it going towards tuition? Is that what
it is? No, it is. It's going towards tuition.
Towards tuition.
Yeah. So it's actually benefiting like the students directly, right?
So you said $1 billion, Johns Hopkins?
Johns Hopkins.
He put like 3 doctors through med school. Fucking.
But no, so then he followed that up with $600 million going to just 5 universities, 5 HBCUs. And the reason for that, man, was that black doctors only make up 6% of the national labor force.
Oh, okay. Of the national labor force of doctors specifically?
I believe it's of doctors.
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of the way I read it.
That's not why I thought he was donating to that. But
oh, tell me.
I'm gonna assume his wife, girlfriend, whatever, is black. And she was like, well, you gave $1 billion to John Hopkins.
Yeah, but baby,
Yeah.
you just gave $1 billion to
You
the
don't give a
white
fuck
people.
why can't we get $1 billion too? Is she?
I don't know.
All right, now I need to look up
All right, look it
Michael
up.
Bloomberg's. Let's see.
All right, well, you look at that. So he gave, basically the way it was split up, he gave $175 million to Howard University, the College of Medicine there, Meharry Medical College, and Morehouse School of Medicine. And then he gave Charles Drew University of Medicine and Science and Xavier University of Louisiana both got $75 million. Sorry. Charles Drew University of Medicine and Science got $75 million. The Xavier University of Louisiana got a $5 million grant.
Damn. So he went up. All right.
So that's the way he split it up, and I was like, it is huge, man. Because, dude, I think it's important. Like you really need diversity, really in every field, but I think in medical field especially, because there are things that when you come from a background that eat, that live a certain kind of way and predominantly eat the same foods, right? Like that community goes or sort of has ailments that maybe other communities don't. Mm-hmm. And you need somebody from your community to be able to understand, you know what, these issues could come from X or Y, right? Like,
yeah, they get the nuance of your day-to-day life, right?
Exactly.
They get the, y'all, you eat not only this, but you cook it with this, and you have it this often, and it's like they have an intimate understanding of the lifestyle.
Yes.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's weird, man, how much. It's not even just diversity in race or whatever, but it's just like diversity in life, right? Like because you could just as easily say like, hey, people who live in the mountains versus someone who lives in a jungle versus someone who lives near the ocean, right? Different diets, different habits, different sort of rituals day to day,
availability to things,
right?
Exactly.
Like
anything.
Yeah. So to your point, it is extremely important, I think, that you have diversity in those fields. Also, I think, having an understanding of when people talk to you and I don't know, man, like I have this thing with doctors where they treat everyone, and I know it's because they sort of treat everyone like the chart in front of them, right? There isn't
like where there's numbers.
There's like no bedside manner, or there isn't like an intimate knowledge of you, the person, that you're sort of able to relate to, and then I think, I don't know, deploy the different methodologies in your treatment just based on understanding that person's sort of lifestyle that you do get with diversity of thought. Not just, not just diversity of race or whatever, but literally just the diversity of thought. Like that could be socioeconomic, that could be, again, where you live geographically and all that. So, yeah, man, that's cool, man, that he did that.
Dude, even for me, man, like, so I just turned 50, right, recently. And, I got to go get the finger in the butt soon, right?
Ooh.
But you know what?
Can we do that on the pod? Bring the doctor here.
Bring it in. Bring the cameras in.
Bring the doctor.
Dude, but
we'll blur it. Actually, that's for the Patreon. We'll put that on OnlyFans. Sean get a prostate exam on.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like, I'm not looking forward to it, but I am looking forward to the story after.
It's gonna be brutal here.
But no, the reason for me saying that, man, is that like I'm looking for a doctor now, right? And one of the things, and it's just kind of a pet peeve of mine, is like I want a doctor that lives at least a semi-healthy lifestyle, and is somewhat physically fit.
Oh, you mean if you have a fat doctor, you're not really willing to take their advice?
I don't want no sausages in my ass.
Yeah, they're gonna be. You want somebody with fat fingers? You're like looking at the doctor's bio, like, former offensive lineman, he's out.
Yeah. No, but because you know what, and the reason why it's not really for that, but I mean that's actually a good reason.
Fucking Dikembe Mutombo. You're like, nope.
You got in this. What about her finger? Can you teach her what to look for?
What to look for. It is kind of crazy that that's still the only way they could do it, but
Dude, it's fucking nuts, man.
It's wild.
But dude, like I've had in the past, and it's always pissed me off, where like I'll go into a doctor and I'll go, oh man, like I had, like one time I had tennis elbow. Right, and it was really bad, and it hurt me for months and months and months. So much to the point where I just go like, I'm gonna get this thing checked out.
Yeah.
So I go in and I see this orthopedic doctor, and the guy is like, he's not in shape at all, and his first thing is, oh, you gotta like stop working out for a while, and I go, no. I looked at him and I go, no. And then he goes, well, you know, it's going to keep hurting. And I'm like, doc, like, that's not a solution, bro. I go, give me something else. And then he goes, well, how about you just stay away from exercises that make the tennis elbow really hurt? Just stay away from those. And I'm like, all right, man, I can do that.
Also, couldn't you have come up with that solution on your own?
Yes. Yes. I was hoping that I would go in there and get a shot and it should be done.
Yeah,
right.
Oh, let it rest for a month and then whatever.
Dude, I thought that, right? I really did. I thought he would say like, oh, you know what? If you just lay off of it for a month or a couple of weeks or whatever, it'll go away. No, this motherfucker said no. It could take up to 6 months. You got to just stop. You know, you just stop working out.
That's what I got when I had my
like,
back pain.
no, bro.
And I was like, yeah, I don't think that's it. Like dude, it doesn't. And I'm in the same boat as you. I'm looking for a doc, and I fucking hate them all. Every single one I've gone to, I just dislike.
Yeah.
I just don't. And I understand. Like I know people in the medical profession who are doctors or PAs or whatever, and I know that they're literally like, you know, it's a business, right? And so they're literally just, they have to meet a quota of amount of patients that they see per day and yada yada. Like I get that, but also I just think not having personal relationships with people and just going by the symptoms are this, here's the solution, and then you know here you go without an actual personalized treatment plan is it's trash.
Yeah. But all that to say, like, you know, like in the medical profession, you need people from your tribe.
Yeah.
Whether it's whether it's
someone who works out there would
right.
have been the diversity, right? And then I'm like you, man. Like I can't, like there's certain things where like we all do it, right? We're judgmental over people over looks. That you know it is what it is. And if a doctor's overweight and was trying to tell me how to either work out or not work out or I need
like
to get my cholesterol
change your diet.
It's like bro.
How's that working out for you, doc?
Yeah, the fuck. Yeah, it's just I don't know. That's just weird. It's like, I'm immediately off put by that in a lot of things, but especially in that.
And so back to Michael Bloomberg, man. You know, shout out to him for doing that. Again, the billionaire guy. Of course, you don't. These guys sometimes they don't get the credit they deserve.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Freaking what, $1.6 billion to medical universities,
dude, and he
in total
is helping out far more than he could have as president. I know he had political aspirations.
He did back in that was 2020.
Yeah, right? And he tried to run for president of the United States. That will probably make more of an impact than anything he would have ever done as president of the United States, because you really can't do anything in that specific role that is sort of, I guess, it's something that comes from you specifically that you want to do and carry, right? Like he can take his money and do whatever the fuck he wants with it. Right. It's harder to do that with taxpayer dollars.
That's right.
So, shout out to him and doing that. Also, he's, I wonder if, you see like these super duper billionaires who are sort of getting into that twilight of their life or maybe the sun is starting to set a little bit and they're, having this like, I don't know if it's like a end of life crisis or whatever it is, of where you want to maybe figure out how do you get rid of your money, right? Like who do you pass it along to when you go, especially, if you have kids. I don't know what situation is like, but let's say he has kids. It's only so much money you can leave them, right? Like if you're worth a few $1 billion.
That's going to matter.
Right. And then, what do you do as far as legacy goes? And I think that's something that a lot of us think about. Is like, what is the conversation going to be like for me after I'm gone? And I think you see this with a lot of these like super uber rich people as they start to get sort of like older in their years, where I think the legacy part matters more. Where it's like that is going to be something. Someone will name a wing in a hospital after him one day.
That's what I was thinking,
school,
man. Or a school, right?
Yeah.
Right? Is it like almost like John Hopkins Medical School, right? Or something,
Yeah.
something become the Michael Bloomberg, medical school.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this on there before. It's weird. Like I had this weird, I don't know, like era in my life, if you will, where I thought a lot about that, about legacy, about like specifically
Really?
like my name, like what it would mean, like my kids afterwards. And it was like things are like, oh man, not even that I wanted a hospital wing named after me, but it was like, man, what would give like my kids and my grandkids, my great grandkids, like people who will never get to meet me and my family to go, oh cool, that was my great great grandfather, that's our name, like something to be proud of. I think it's because like I don't know, I guess I became obsessed with like wanting my name to mean something to my kids and like like the generations after me, where it was like, how do you do that? Because there is like, we've talked about this on here before. It is unfortunate, but like there is going to be a point in time where you're just forgotten. And and it's probably,
it ain't that far in the future.
It's not, man. It's probably your grandkids, right? Like depending on how early your kids have kids, right? And so maybe your grandkids will have a little bit of remembrance after you, but then that's it.
But your great grandkids,
right? And then it ends there, and then it's like, yeah, it just became this thing of like, man, how do you leave something around that at least there'll have to be a conversation around this is how that came to be, like. And this is why we do this, or like this is why this building exists, or this, whatever it is, whatever the sort of monument, if you will, or legacy, or because it doesn't have to be something tangible, but it's just like, what are you known for that you pass down that sort of gives pride to your descendants, right, for carrying your name.
Even if it's a story.
Yeah.
Right. Even if it's some like grandiose story that is sort of passed down. Yeah. Like you said, we're not that far away from being forgotten.
Yeah, no one's gonna fucking talk about us in whatever 50 years from now or 60 years from now or whatever it is gonna be. Like, that's it. It's just like the
ride's over. Don't worry. You won't care.
I won't care. I know. But while I care, it consumes me. I hate it.
While you're here. Tell me about this Chinese doctor,
dude. These guys, like, there was a lot of medical stories this week, man. It was cool. I had a few that sort of caught my eye, but it kind of ties into what you were talking about in terms of like diversity of care. There's these doctors in China that figured out to do a removal of a tumor. I think it was a lung tumor. From 3,000 miles away, using sort of robotics, and this isn't unique to them. I know we've had like the ability of doctors to put like gloves on or these hands on and control these robot hands from like a distance away and perform these surgeries. But I guess this was like a really invasive surgery, sort of very cutting edge, and to be able to pull it off with a robot from that distance is like a huge milestone. But I think when you were talking before about like your tribe and all that stuff, this also gives access to people in areas that wouldn't otherwise have access to, I guess, elite medical care.
Right.
Depending on where you live, right, you don't have access to doctors from John Hopkins and maybe Mayo clinics. And, if you're in a remote village somewhere or wherever and you have internet connection, now you've sort of opened up healthcare or your treatment to the world.
Right.
Doing something like this, and so the story was
pretty
cool.
And then things like Starlink, being up there has given internet to places that's never had it before. So, yeah, man, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the story's cool, and I know the 5G has really made this possible because there has to be this precision and sort of this obviously that it has to be responsive, to the millisecond essentially when you're doing these sorts of things. So there's like layers of the technology that's allowed it to get there. And then, I think just, again, this provides access to what we were saying before. It's just a diversity of access, right, to people who wouldn't otherwise have. If there's a remote village in Africa or, the Amazon or whatever, and there's diseases or there's surgeries, there's tumors, whatever it is, now you sort of you don't have to, a lot of times people die or just don't get treated or things get worse over time because they don't have access to a doctor that maybe specializes in that. And I think this sort of opens up that opportunity for a lot of people. So, man, I thought that was super cool. That's awesome.
That is cool.
And people were wilding out because there were these doctors from, I think it was Sweden. I want to get the thing right. But who use these nano robots. Swedish scientists. They create these nano robots that destroy cancer cells from the inside. They essentially
Fucking Body Wars.
Yeah. It's like these guys in the University of Delaware. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce this guy's name. I'm sorry, bro. Professor Balaji and Pancha Pakasan. We're gonna go with that, Pancha. We're just gonna go with Balaji Pancha. And he discovered that by bundling these carbon nanotubes and exposing them to light, they could induce nanoscale explosions that selectively annihilate cancer cells and leave like the good tissue alone.
Get the fuck
It's like
outta
these
here.
micro explosions. Yeah. And
So they just send them inside the body?
in your body, go attack these cancer cells, and then they just do their thing.
Do they come out or do they get like absorbed?
They stay in there. Imagine they just stay in there waiting
They
for
just
other
stay in
shit to
there
pop up. They're just fucking bodyguards now of the whole of your body. Yeah,
Dude, that's interesting.
it's
man,
fucking
Like,
cool,
to-
man. Yeah. It's and
I mean,
I think
for
leaving
cancer is
oh
phenomenal.
groundbreaking. But I think leaving healthy cells or good cells intact is like the big thing here, because it's like destroying them isn't the problem. It's destroying them and keeping the shit that you need, and then your body able to regenerate good
Right.
ones has been an issue for a long time. And these things are like, it's almost like microscopic in the precision that they do.
Oh, yeah.
Or it is microscopic. It's not
It
not
is.
like
Yeah,
it is
no, it
microscopic in the precision, and it completely leaves the good tissue.
Bro, how are you
intact.
fucking building
Oh, bro.
a nano robot?
Yeah, listen, we got cameras the size of rice grains now, so fucking we got,
Still, man, if to build something that small, that's insane. You ever see like those artists that they'll do shit like the microscopic stuff, but they'll build like almost like whole like cities or some shit.
It's insane.
It's
Yeah,
crazy the way
yeah.
they do it like under a microscope, and then it's
My
nuts.
daughter was just showing me a lady who, what was she doing? She was crocheting micro, not even clothes, but I think, yeah, I mean, I think some of it was clothes, but some of it might have been like a gingerbread house or whatever,
Okay.
but like crocheting, they put in and it was micro, it was like the size of your fingernail. She's crocheting these things, and when you look at it under a microscope, it had all this crazy detail. It was
Yeah.
amazing. It was so cool. I
That's
think it was like a
insane.
YouTube video she found. It was insane.
Those people
Insane.
are obsessed.
You have to be.
You have to be.
And then to even think of some shit like that, and then to even want to practice, and it's insane.
Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah, humans are awesome. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're just so fucked up and then so cool and all I want.
Speaking of amazing humans, go USA.
Let's go, America.
I know this is Olympics like week number 3 discussion, man. But if you guys had not been watching it, it was amazing. Olympics are finished right now. The U.S. finished with 126 total medals. They led in every medal category. 40 gold, which was tied with China, but then 44 silver, 42 bronze. China only had 91 total.
Yeah, we
had
were-
126.
I was gonna say we ran away with it.
Yeah,
in the
man.
total medal count. You see, maybe y'all spend less money on healthcare, more money developing athletes like we do. Get more medals every 4 years.
Dude, did you see for basketball, right? The men's and the women's.
Yes.
Which is unprecedented. They both played France.
Yeah, and the men played France the last Olympics as well, which is it's crazy. France has been like the number 2 team in basketball in the world.
Which is nuts,
4
man.
years.
I think Canada had 11 NBA players.
Yeah, dude, but fucking the whole starting lineup for France was NBA players too, wasn't it? Like, but
I only there was only 2 guys that I knew.
oh really? It was Fournier. It was Abedo.
But he wasn't. Fournier didn't start.
Oh, okay,
But he was there.
off the
Sorry,
bench.
so I would go 3.
But NBA player off the bench for France. Yeah, so, it's like, and then it was Wemby, Batum.
Wemby, that's right, Wemby.
Yeah.
What's the other guy? I'm sorry.
Gobert. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking about is Serbia.
Okay. Yeah. And Serbia had, maybe
Bondanovic
yeah,
or whatever.
Yeah. But no, it's crazy. Yeah, and like you said, I'm president. The women's, it speaks a lot to sort of the basketball programs there in general.
Yeah.
To have, men and women both reach the final. I mean, for the U.S., it's kind of expected, but for France to be there, it was.
And bro,
really
for
cool.
what for that expectation, right? Even though we do have sort of the greatest individual players, what people don't understand is these players are put together, and they literally have weeks to try to gel and play as a unit. Where these other countries actually have their teams and they play together for years. Some
Yeah,
of
they
them,
do these FIBA World Cups and they take it seriously and they do all that. Yeah.
No, they really do. And so that was an amazing game. Freaking Steph Curry came out at the very end and put the dagger in it with. Dude, that shot that he made, he made like 4 3-pointers like in the last couple of minutes.
He hits like 4 or 5 in a row at one point. Yeah, in the last 2 minutes, he scored 15 points or whatever. Yeah.
The one that he shot where he's double teamed and he's falling away and I'm just like, yo, that basket must just look huge to him at this point.
And he gets in those zones. You know what's funny is when you're cheering against him, it's the most infuriating thing in the world because you're like, no, every time he lets it go. And then but when you're cheering for him, you're just like, oh, y'all fucked up. You know, it's like you give him just a fucking inch of space and you're like, oh, there goes. And it's so cool to watch him get it. Like you said, it's like you can see it in his eyes. You can see it in how he moves. It's like, I'm not passing this. I'm getting this shot off no matter what. And it's going in. And it's just like, it's so fun to watch, man.
There was a few shots that he took and I go, no, because there was like 2 guys open.
Yeah, because they're like, double teaming him. And they can't rotate fast, which is the other thing. Is like, you know, LeBron hit him with like a behind the back pass where he hits that 1-3.
Yep.
And it's a really slow, like, it's not like a fast pass that was like impressive. You know, it's like a really slow bounce pass that an NBA team cuts that. You know, they get to Curry, they close that out faster. Maybe Curry blows past you. But I'm even watching the ball movement and I'm going, they can't even rotate off double teams fast enough like you would if you were watching. Like if that was the NBA Finals, it doesn't matter what team's on the other side. And this is a little too fucking nuanced for basketball. They're rotating off of these double teams way quicker. And just watching, you go like, oh yeah, that's the difference between like, it's like you're going to double team Curry, you're going to pay for it. Except he didn't fucking pass. He was just like, I'm just going to take it anyway. And to your point, it was like the whole time I'm going, there's a guy under the basket that's open. There's a guy on the wing that's open. There's like, it's like give it up. And then, but he just gets in that zone.
Like I said, that must be, I've heard basketball players describe, they just go, sometimes the hoop just looks big.
It's like the flow state or whatever you want to call it. And you know what's cool, man? I watched the game with my brother and my mom.
Okay.
And my mom's not like a huge basketball fan, right? Like
She had to be into that.
Oh, it was amazing. She was so into it. And then when Curry starts hitting the shots, you know, he's open. It's just like, you know, we're like talking. It's just like, oh, he's kind of on fire. She's like, oh yeah, they're leaving him by himself. I go, no, you don't understand. They could be in his face and he's going to start drilling those. And sure enough, like the next one is like the double team one where he just shoots it up and it's like a terrible shot, right? Like it's horrible. It's horrible. And it goes in, but it's like typical Curry. Dude, I jumped up when he hit that shot and just like I literally jumped up and I'm like, you know, celebrating. You're like high five my brother. Like we're just so hyped because it's so fun to watch when he gets into that zone.
Yes.
And then I think when you're cheering for him, it just makes you go like, oh, this is what the Warriors fans must feel like all the time. You know, it's like it's so cool.
And not for nothing, the U.S. led the majority of that game.
Yeah.
But France would not go away.
And it never felt close though. I know the game was close.
To me, it did.
Yeah, see, the whole game, I go, I know the score is close, but I never felt like, oh shit, they're in trouble. Like it just felt like there was when they need to, they're gonna turn it on.
There was at one point where they were up by, let's say, like 15, and then they dwindled it down to like 3 or 2.
Yeah.
And you know what? And then I'm not even sure they may have even tied the game, but that's when I was just like, guys, like don't fucking blow.
They might have taken it by 1 or yeah, you're right.
It's
and then Curry took over.
Yes,
it was right. Yeah, it was right before Curry took it. But I think that was my thing. Is I went, you can't stop all of them. So like the whole time I'm going, I don't care how close this gets, either LeBron or Edwards or Curry or Davis. Like one of these guys is just gonna go, okay,
Kevin Durant.
Like I didn't even get to him. It's like one of these guys is gonna go, all right, that's cute. Let's finish this off. And I felt like that's what Curry did. Curry was like, you know, and I think it was what I really liked about Curry is like the emotion behind it is he didn't have, which I didn't realize he hadn't been a part of an Olympic team yet.
I didn't realize
he didn't have one. Yeah, I didn't know. And so you could tell he wanted it. And it was cool to see him and he was so psyched to get that. And so it was neat to watch. I think the sense of urgency when you watch these players like actually take this serious and because that game, man, those guys played D too, like they really wanted to win that gold medal. You know, it wasn't like something where they were just kind of taking it for granted and expected to win. You could tell they were like, nah, we're gonna, you know, France is a tough team to play against, and the intensity was like NBA Finals level intensity.
Yeah, bro.
It was really cool to watch, man.
And then the fact that the fact that they were playing in Paris, right? So the crowd is insane. right? It's like a hostile crowd.
Yeah, because it's their home.
'Cause they're home,
Which,
yeah.
shout out Paris, by the way. They did a phenomenal job, I think, hosting these Olympics. Some of the aerial shots of like these stadiums and like the view, you know, with the Eiffel Tower. as
Dude,
a
that Eiffel
backdrop.
Tower view is amazing.
Oh my God, just gorgeous. And then I think someone made this point on one of the shows I was watching. I can't remember, but it was like it felt very Paris-like. They're like, when you're there, it was like they embraced their culture and they embraced sort of like the things that they do, and they executed really well. And you didn't hear any like, aside from the thing with the river or whatever, but that was an issue sort of going in. You didn't really hear about any major issues.
Right.
I don't think this is something that's going to bankrupt the city. Like it was like something, because the Olympics have like a really bad. From a business perspective, it's not considered like the best thing to bring to your
city.
To your city, generally, it just doesn't bode well for you. But they pulled it off like so flawlessly. Nothing crazy, nothing controversial. The opening ceremony or whatever. But it's like you're not gonna please everybody. And then the games just went off without a hitch, and it looked pretty. And even the ending, which we talked about my fucking man crush on Tom Cruise on here before. Where I'm like, yo, give that guy all of my money for anything he ever does. But the whole stunt he pulls off at the end.
No, what did he do?
Oh, it was awesome, dude. He jumps down from the stadium in Paris. He fucking like
This is
rappels
the
down
closing
to
ceremony?
close ceremony.
Oh, shit.
Takes the flag from Simone Biles and the mayor of LA, and then takes off through Paris in a motorcycle. So runs off stage, hops on a motorcycle, rides it through the crowd, fucking goes out into the city, and then they cut to him like on a plane,
Yeah.
and then he parachutes onto the Hollywood sign in LA
Get the
and
fuck
plants the flag.
outta
I mean, it
here,
was
bro.
fucking amazing. And he
That's
did
dope.
the real shit. Like he's rappelling down the fucking stadium
Oh,
live.
he did it.
And then he actually did the stunt because I had saw something he had recorded it weeks before in LA. He had recorded the part where he parachutes in, and they color the Hollywood sign with the O's, to make it
Yeah,
the Olympic
yeah.
rings and all. I mean, so cool.
Oh, I missed that, man. That sounds
You gotta
fucking
YouTube
cool.
that shit. Look
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
It's fucking cool. And and of course it's I'm sure it's tied into like a whatever the next Mission Impossible movie is gonna be. It's like but it's such a cool handoff of like, oh, here, thank you Paris. Like here you go LA. And it was just awesome. I mean, just the way they did everything, I thought was so fucking cool. Yeah, man. I'm like, you couldn't have asked for a better Olympic Games. It was pretty awesome.
Man.
Especially, I think there was some, like, I normally don't really. It's not that I don't care, but the Olympics can be boring. Like a lot of the events, I think we had that sort of hangover from the COVID one where we felt like we didn't get one, and so maybe there was a little more excitement this time around because it's the first one in 8 years that we had a crowd.
Yep.
And that felt sort of normal, and we did it in a cool city. Like I hate when they're in like fucking cities where no one really cares to be. Like you do it in a global city like Paris, I think it makes a big difference. I don't want fucking Olympics in Sochi, like nobody cares about, or that, or
Where's that?
Yeah, exactly.
But to go back to this, man, like Kevin Durant became the first male athlete to win 4 goals in a team sport.
Really?
Yeah. And then like I said, the women also played France, which that was a tight game, man. Matter of fact, it came down to the end. U.S. was up by 3. France, the French women came down and shot what was supposed to be a 3-pointer, and she was stepping on the line, and the shit banks in, and it's game over. Like that's how the game ended. So they lost. They won by 1 point.
They won by 1, which that could have been the tying shot.
Yeah, it could have been a tying shot.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was crazy, man. So fifth straight goal for the men, 8th for the women. Which, by the way, the women are like 78-3 all time.
Yeah, this is why I remember we were talking about the whole fucking not including Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, and it's like, and you almost lose to France anyway. Anyway.
Yeah, that would have been nuts.
And they got beat by the WNBA All Stars, but whatever.
Yeah, like the best of the rest.
Like the best of the rest of them. Yeah. But man, but shout out to them. They brought gold back. The basketball is one of those things where it's like embarrassing to lose to. I also think when they do flag football at the next ones, and we let our pros in, hell, we can just let our college kids in. We should never lose a flag football gold medal.
No.
I mean, it would be fucking embarrassing. Like the rest of the world doesn't play flag football.
Well, I'm assuming they're gonna. So they're taking out. They had breakdancing this time.
Yeah.
Did you see the chick from Australia?
Yeah, man, that was awesome.
What the fuck?
I thought she was trolling. Like, and then you realize that she's for real.
It's for real.
It looked like one of us went out there and just did that shit. Do you think there's
I was confused.
You think maybe that's just the best Australia could do? Like maybe just dancing's not their thing?
I'm baffled at how this person got picked. But it's been like all over the internet. If you're on social media, you know, you've definitely seen this.
So horrible.
But shout out to the kid from Kissimmee here. There was a kid, Victor Montalvo, kid from Kissimmee. He won the bronze.
Oh, in the breakdance?
In the breakdance.
Who won gold?
Yeah.
What Asian?
I think it was from Japan.
Of course.
How did you know?
Bro, it's fucking, and he did it about flexibility, and so just assume the Asians won. I'm like, breakdancing, that's sort of like acting like a ninja.
But also, man, shout out to Sydney McLaughlin Levrone, man. She fucking. Did you watch her in that 400 hurdles?
I missed the 400 hurdles. Yeah, I missed the actual. I saw the 200. I think it was of her. I saw.
No,
the
you probably saw the one where she did. She did. She was in the relay.
Okay, yeah, because I missed her gold medal, her individual gold medal. I definitely missed that one.
Bro.
Yeah.
So, just to kind of put it in the context, so it's a 400-meter hurdle. So she broke her own record with 50.37 seconds. The world record without the hurdles is 3 seconds. It's actually less than 3 seconds less.
That's insane, dude. And how many hurdles is she hopping in that?
A lot. I don't know. There's a lot of them motherfuckers.
It is a lot. It's like jumping through a construction zone. Fucking. Dude, and then in the relay, she just.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh my God, man.
if you're watching the YouTube,
yeah, you'll see us fucking
we just
around.
went off the air.
That was weird. I smacked the mic and literally the whole thing just shut down. That was awesome.
But dude, her on the relay, dude, turn me down a little bit.
No, yeah, everything just got louder.
Everything
that.
just went.
Yeah. Even I'm loud. There we go.
So her on that relay, she's like the fastest one.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, she's gonna be anchor.
The anchor, yep.
But before the race started, they go, oh no, she's gonna be the second leg, and I'm like, why? That's stupid. But bro, it wasn't stupid.
Oh my God, man!
It was like, and the Jamaican team actually got to their first relay person. You know, was first like before us. But when she got it, like shot out of a cannon.
Dude, it was insane. Like watching it live, you're like, and then you know what? I was cracking up because you could tell they don't plan for this. Is do you know the camera that runs along the side that's on the track?
Oh,
that keeps up with the runners.
Yes.
That fucking camera didn't know what to do. So because it was like, I can't follow her because then there's no one with her.
Right.
So it stays with the crowd, and then they have to pan out so far from, like, you could tell cameras in the stadium.
Yeah.
And my favorite part about this whole thing is like we're all watching it and you see her and she's taking up the full screen and she's almost at the end of one side and there's still no one in the frame.
Yeah.
Like she was that far ahead, and then when the other girls kept going, they just kept pulling.
Yeah,
and
it
pulling.
was incredible.
It was amazing, man.
Incredible.
It was so cool to watch.
Shout out to the women really showed out for track and field.
Oh my God, yeah.
Really
the men
did.
fucked up the relay.
Yeah, they did.
At least what is it?
That 4x100.
The 4x100. Yeah.
They royally fucked that one up, which has been like a plague for these guys over the last several Olympics.
Yeah, I heard about something about they were complaining about. I'm like, I don't know what you complain about. Everybody else does it just fine, bro.
No.
It was something about that they were complaining about the rules or whatever.
Yeah,
but
Carl Lewis was saying something.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand.
Everybody else does
like,
it just fine. It's like,
yeah, bro.
Shut up.
Get with the fucking program.
Get with and the guys who did the four. The guys who won gold, the men won gold in the relay.
Is it the 4x400?
400, I think is they wound up winning that one. So it's like, okay, they didn't have a problem with whatever it was. So yeah, dude, I think it's funny, man. Like we don't give a shit about track except for every 4 years, but there's very few things more exciting in sports than watching that 100-meter dash, men or women's. Just like the spectacle of it all, you know, like fucking lights come on, these guys line up, and then you hear that gunshot go off, and then it's just fucking 10 of the most exciting seconds, you know, in sports. It's weird because it's very short. It's very, like, I don't know how you build like entire events around that.
It's like fucking horse racing.
But it's like a Kentucky Derby. It's like, where it's just like you're waiting around, and then it's just 10 seconds, and it's gone in a blink of an eye, but it's so fucking exciting to watch. Man. And because normally they're so close. And then we had that, you know, that crazy photo finish with Noah Lyles, you know, like the women's race. place was just watching.
Yeah, with Sha'Carri when she won
Sha'Carri,
the gold
yeah,
on that relay.
Oh, so cool, man.
Crazy,
Yeah.
man. I love when she pulled ahead of the field and she just looks over at the second place person like, what?
Yeah.
I love that shit.
I love
man.
the swagger like that, man.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so cool, man. But
So shout out to all the athletes from all the countries. That was an amazing Olympics, man. See you in 4 years in LA. Did you see Snoop and fucking Dre like kicked off this like little concert thing like for the LA Olympics? Like they did it like a few days ago.
I didn't watch I saw the like clips of it, but I didn't get to watch the actual performance. But I thought it was cool, and there was something, I forget who told the mayor of LA. I don't know if it was like the mayor of Paris or whatever, but it was basically like advice where they asked them what kind of advice, and they're like, be you. Make it unapologetically LA.
LA? Oh, that's
and it was like, man, you could have, just having Snoop, and I'm glad they weren't stuffy about this.
Yes.
Nothing is more LA than Snoop and Dre, and just, I hope that they do embrace that and let it be very Hollywood, very over the top, very over, like I'm looking forward to that. Like there's very few cities in the world, again, that can pull off an Olympics without having to fucking change their entire infrastructure and build, whatever, a lot of shit to handle it. LA can handle it.
How's that traffic gonna be? That's gonna be. It's already horrendous.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put those flying
That's-
helicopters or those flying cars we've been talking about on here for a long time in there, hopefully to get people around. It's gonna be bad, man.
It's gonna be crazy.
And then, do you build an Olympic Village to sort of self-contain it, and like, what do you do it around SoFi and?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows how they're gonna handle that? So it'll be interesting to see.
It'll be cool, man. And I think you could just make it really sexy, right? Because you're gonna have these, can you imagine for the 100-meter dash what the crowd's gonna look like?
Oh, it's gonna be insane.
It's just gonna be full of, the who's who of it, because it's gonna be the event to go to, right? Because even Paris Paris is a cool city. People like to go to Paris, and it was, the crowd, they cut to it, and there's a lot of the athletes from the event are there. I thought it was cool. I saw Simone Biles on one, and they interviewed her, and she goes like, "Oh, I've never watched an Olympic event."
Oh, yes.
Which I thought was interesting. It's like, man, she's been to 3 or 4 Olympics, and she's never watched an Olympic event that
And
wasn't the gymnastics.
When she was competing, it was like the who's who was in that. It was an athlete watching
men and
her.
women athletes. Like, no, we have to
Yeah.
turn up to watch this. Which I get, dude. You're watching the greatest of all time potentially in gymnastics. So it's like, LA is gonna be that for like I think some of the swimming, the gymnastics, imagine it too if Biles comes back. Like I don't know that she will. But if she decides, like, hey, at 31, I want to,
She's 27?
She's 27 right now, which
wow.
again makes it more impressive what she did. Like, if she decides to come back and give it another run at 31, which would be unprecedented, but her athleticism now didn't seem to have wavered much from
the last time.
Yeah, so
If anything, she's better.
yeah, so she's probably capable. I know the girl from Brazil always gives her a run for her money.
Yeah, she was great.
And but she's also 4 years older, so it's like maybe that's a fun like storyline there that plays out then, and then whoever emerges right between now and then. But yeah, I just can't wait. It's gonna be a fucking spectacle to see LA. I think that's it. And they're adding baseball, softball. They're adding a couple of other sports. They're adding flag football. Lacrosse. Yeah, I think which
I think breakdancing. They're gonna
do.
stop.
I think the girl from Australia was so bad
They're gonna stop it.
that they're just gonna stop.
Yeah,
They said it might be
said.
back for the next one, but they're removing it from there
For LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, again, LA breakdancing would have been awesome.
That would have been good.
It would have been so good. But
As long as the girl from Australia doesn't show up.
I think you should let her ride, man. I think you got to let her in everything. It was, to go, I don't care what anybody says, to go on that stage and do the shit she did and not give a fuck and still stand there like you just tore that shit down. I was like, I got to give her credit. I don't know that any of us would have been willing to do that.
Yeah, fuck that. To get her off the stage. Dude, talk to me about this Disney lawsuit.
Oh, have you seen this story about?
I have not.
So this guy,
Give me all the details.
and I almost made this my carbon footprint just because I think it just speaks to the mouse. But I also think that this may, actually, let me refrain. This should change how we go about signing contracts and terms and conditions and all that stuff as people, consumers and all that.
Okay.
But it's not going to, but it should.
I'm interested.
So a doctor at Disney Springs, so this is here, it's a restaurant, went to a restaurant, and he dies from an allergic reaction after being assured that the meal was allergen free.
Okay.
So, checked whatever they told him was cool, has
Yeah.
it,
The guy's allergic to nuts or something,
Yeah.
and they tell him there's no
And
nuts in this.
They tell
and he
him, no,
dies.
be good, and dead. Yeah.
Okay.
His widow sues. Disney is now trying to get the lawsuit dismissed
Based on what?
because they're arguing that he agreed to arbitrate any and all disputes when he signed up for Disney Plus free trial years earlier. He doesn't have an active subscription.
Okay, hold on.
Years earlier, he signed up for a Disney Plus free trial.
You mean the fucking TV thing? Disney
Yeah.
Plus, the TV?
So in those
subscription?
T's and C's that none of us read for
Yeah.
the Disney Plus thing,
Yeah, yeah.
evidently you agree that you basically waive your right to a trial in court and everything goes to arbitration. And this
If-
applies to if you have a legal
anything.
dispute with Disney,
Period.
period. And I'm sure that's something to do with the verbiage and the language, and also speaks to like Disney's lawyers. This might be a stretch,
We
right?
all agree to it because we don't want to read that
Because
shit.
we don't want to read that shit. And so, and I'm sure this is, again, Disney's going to have the best of the best and their lawyers, maybe this is a Hail Mary. Maybe the court goes like, well, technically you guys are right, but in the spirit of the law, that wasn't what this was intended to do. And maybe they sort of agree that this is a separate thing, which should be the right thing to do.
Yeah,
but
like
it will
thi-
absolutely dictate how people write contracts moving forward. And then I think as consumers, now you have to be worried about what you're agreeing to.
Dude, and in Disney Springs, and I don't know this, right? Because there are restaurants on Disney property that are not Disney owned.
Correct. Most aren't, I guess. Yeah.
And I don't know if that same thing holds true in Disney Springs or if those are all. Well, no, there's Planet Hollywood.
there's Planet
there,
Hollywood. Yeah,
right?
no, there's a lot of.
So it's got to be.
a lot of their retail restaurants
franchises.
aren't. They're restaurants that just pay to have a space there.
Right.
Yeah.
But in this case, I guess the person said no. Disney's responsible.
Yeah, because you're the ones, and I'm sure the layers to the lawsuit, right? But I guess
Right,
ultimately you're on Disney property, and that person, the restaurant, is paying, whatever a rent or lease, whatever to Disney, maybe, or maybe it is one of their restaurants. But I just thought, man, again, I think the spirit of the law would dictate that this shouldn't apply here, especially a free trial you did years ago, and especially I think someone would end
Bro,
up
I wouldn't
arguing.
even care if you still had a subscription.
No,
man.
like that's not what you're agreeing to. It has nothing to do. This should
It had
stand alone.
nothing to do with I'm agreeing to this, these terms and conditions for Disney Plus. So I guess I could go, well, if I was offended, or let's just say I got scared to death, right? And I can't sue you for anything like that. But to go eat at a restaurant on your property, I'm not quite sure how that's anything to do with Disney Plus. But dude, lawyers fucking find ways to,
Yeah, figure it out, man. And I would think again that this will get dismissed. Another good lawyer should be able to get this dismissed. But man,
Get what dismiss? You mean get Disney's
their motion to dismiss
motion
it,
to
dismiss.
dismiss
I would
it.
think,
Got it.
again, I would think that I understand from a technical standpoint, they might say, oh, but the language says this. I would think in the spirit of the law and the way, like a lot of times that stuff can prevail. But no, man, we're in the United States.
Yeah, bro.
It is a very litigious, country.
Yep.
And also very pro-business, very pro-corporation, depending on the courts. So it's going to be, I'm fascinated to see how this plays out. But because either way, if Disney wins, like as consumers, this should worry us. It won't, right? Because most of us are just going to click because we want the subscription. And so we're not going to think it through because it's like the option is you just don't have that.
Yeah, we don't want to take the time to read the T's
Right.
and C's anyway.
Or I'm just going to bootleg it. Like maybe you force me to bootleg it because I don't want to sign a subscription because I don't want it to be under my... Or do you sign up for these things with fake names? Like there's workarounds. This, if you go like, oh, he had a Disney Plus subscription, it's like, you don't know it's me. I could just use some random email address with a name. It's not, they don't ask you for ID when you create an email. There's ways around this that I would think, again, I could argue like, how do you know that was even him? It's like, I don't know. But I'm like keeping an eye on this because I'm just fascinated by this whole thing.
We gotta fucking get an update on that.
Yeah, we definitely have to do that on here, man, to see what happens there.
Speaking of Disney, man, you see Malika Andrews this week?
Oh, dude, so impressive.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Malika Andrews is what do you call? I guess is she an analyst?
Yeah, sports
I don't know,
reporter
sports analyst, right?
Journalist. Yeah.
Yep. Who I gotta be honest, man. When I first saw Malika, she's a beautiful girl, right? And so you go, okay, they're putting her up there because she's a pretty face, but she's actually really good. She's actually really good at her
yeah.
job. She's
Really good at her job.
Yeah, she is. She's, I've seen her alone. I've seen her in interviews. I've seen her amongst like prominent sports figures, and she can kind of hold her own in those conversations. Well, she's in the ESPN studios in LA, right?
Yeah.
And LA had they had an earthquake that was like 4 point something on the Richter scale,
it was in the
right?
fours, yeah.
So nothing like too crazy, but the studio shook, and she's right in the middle of interviewing. I believe it was Rebecca Lobo.
Yep.
And so, right in the middle of the interview, and you're like, the building fucking shakes.
Oh, you can see it on TV.
Yeah,
the building goes sideways.
The
Yeah.
building shakes. She doesn't. She breaks the interview. Immediately checks like very professionally checks on everybody in the studio to make sure that everybody's okay. Quickly explains to the TV viewing audience kind of what happens, and then slides right back into the interview
Like nothing ever happened. And even checks on her producer in her headphone. Go, are you guys okay back there?
She checks on everybody like in the studio.
It's just so
It was
impressive,
so
man.
fucking cool, man, to see that. And I go, man, how many of us would have, somebody else would have run out?
Yeah, and I mean,
or
and that
freaked
tells
out.
you, someone who's obviously familiar living in LA, that these things happen, right? So, obviously she's comfortable in that setting. But to your point, like, that doesn't mean anything. Most people would crumble or freak out or pause it or whatever.
Right.
She
Or
literally,
we're gonna go to commercial.
yeah, we're gonna just acknowledge it. Yep, everybody good, everybody good, everybody good, and then just moves on to whatever fucking question she had.
It's almost like, how the fuck did you even remember where you were?
Dude, it
You
was.
know what I mean? In your line of questioning. But it was, I don't know. To me, it was almost like the epitome of professionalism. In her field.
I don't even. Yes, definitely that. I think just more impressive is the ability to stay calm in crisis. I think is something that is, and like, I'm trying to find the right word here, because it's like it's attractive,
lost on most
but not.
people, bro.
It is lost, but it's like it's attractive, but not attractive in a romantic way. It's like we kind of want to be around people who are like that, who are calm. You want friends like that. You want workers, co-workers like that. Yeah, it's like they keep
It
this.
brings the calm to
Yes.
the team, to the group. Like you want to be surrounded by those people. I've worked with people like that, where you go, man, every time that person is here, like they bring a calm to the team.
Yeah, their presence, like yeah.
It's almost like where you go, oh, so and so's here, we're gonna be good.
We're good. Yeah. And I think we all sort of like want to be surrounded by people like that, right? In our personal life, professional
And
life, whatever it is.
I think we strive to be
That
people,
person.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know that any of us know that we are, unless we're told.
Right. Yeah, that's a good
Right?
point. Yeah. Because I wouldn't be like, oh, I am. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But yeah, you're right. I think we all strive to be that. And then I think seeing someone like that, you're like, man, that's so impressive. In sort of like in crisis like that, and something that could be catastrophic, right? Like she even looks up, it's like, all right, the lights aren't falling, the thing's cool, we're good, all right, and just
It's almost like she had a checklist of, hey, if this ever happens,
go through.
Here's your checklist that you kind of go down and check on everybody, and then if everything is good to go, you continue on.
But and even in that, like what you're saying, you go, how many of us have checklists? Like, it's cool, stop, drop, and roll if you're on fire. But if we were on fire, how many of us would just be running around like fucking crazy on fire? You're not thinking
patting
stop,
yourself.
drop, and roll. Yeah. Trying to find water, throwing yourself. It's just like to even if there's like that checklist, or maybe they're pre-trained for this or whatever. It's like, to even have the wherewithal in that scenario to just like pause and go, oh, let me run through these things. Like, just impressive, man. Yeah. It's just impressive. Like I think people that carry themselves like that, conduct themselves like
Absolutely,
that. Like,
bro. Yeah, no, good for her.
Shit was I watched the video and I was like, get the fuck out of here. And I watched it again and I was like, wow, man, like that's super impressive.
Yeah.
There
was going on with this Illinois school teacher.
Man, did you see this lady? And they said school teacher, but I want to say she like works in the cafeteria. So this Illinois, no, it's a school teacher. She got sentenced to 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million worth of chicken wings. And she was.
Dude, I feel like we talked about this before.
She's a 68-year-old. Did we?
I feel like we have.
I mean, we could have. I think she got sentenced recently. Maybe that's why the story popped up again.
Okay.
But
I'm
it took
pretty
place during the pandemic when schools were closed.
This is like in Chicago.
Yes, and she would place orders and extra, and she would she would get extra wings and whatever. Dude, was she 68? And I saw that Chris Jones.
What was she doing?
Chris Jones.
What was she doing with it? Do you know?
So that's the thing. It doesn't say because I go, are you using it to feed yourself and your family? Or
are you like Robin Hood, right? Are you
or giving it to your neighborhood, or are you flipping it online and making money off it? But even then, are you doing that and then like to make ends meet? I don't know, man. All crime isn't created equal to me.
Yep.
Like I don't know. I just don't like. I'm not upset.
So 68 years old, she got sentenced
9 years in prison. And Chris Jones, who is
I know that name,
player for the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm trying to think of the position, but it's irrelevant. Star defensive player for the Chiefs. He offered, which they're not going to let him do, but he's like, what if I just pay for the wings? Can you guys just just dismiss her sentence, like, period? Like, if the problem was the money for the wings, and so he came out on his thing, it's like, I'll just pay for the wings. Like, I'll pay the $1.5 million so that you guys can let her go.
Yeah.
Because can you imagine do that 68, 9 years for stealing fucking chicken wings, man?
And you're gonna die. You're gonna die in jail.
You're gonna die in prison more than likely. And I don't know. And I guess you could say, hey, the dollar amount is what makes it sort of that egregious. I also, again, all crime isn't created equal to me. So why is she doing this?
Right.
And I'm not just saying that she just get off without anything. It's just that 9 years seems a little fucking excessive to me for chicken wings.
And it does, but I think the dollar amount, like, that's a lot of fucking chicken wings, bro.
That's got to be 1.5 million wings, right? Like, it's got to be $1 a wing, maybe less, 50 cents a wing. Like, wings. Well, actually, at today's prices, man, maybe not. That's like 52 wings. You ever try to buy a 20 piece these days, man? Shit is insane. It's so expensive. And I'm like, yo, these wings got to be busting for you to go to jail for wings. You know how good wings have to be for you to go to jail for them?
Dude, I'm saying, man. But to your point, man, there's probably somewhere in the realm of 2 to 3 million chicken. Has
to be. It's insane, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's an impressive amount of wings. I mean, I really think we should be commending her. You get away with this level of theft. We should be using her. You know how the FBI will use like master forgers and stuff like that to catch other. Like, we should be studying this lady and figuring out how she got away and fix the system that allowed her to do that, right? It's like,
and then I also
elderly woman stole $1.5 million worth of wings from you. Something is broken.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think about that, man, and I'm like, at what point, when at what point do you stop? Like, if she was getting away with it, because this has to be years. Right? This is not like she stole like a whole truck and that was it. This had to be a gradual thing over years that she was taking.
You have 2 years.
Dude, there has to be a point to where you go, okay, I've gotten away with enough. Like, I can't keep doing this. But I think it's the opposite. I think you go, this is easy.
It's too easy.
I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Keep letting it ride.
Yeah, fuck.
You have to, right? Do it. Yeah, you just got to keep
going. We all
going.
do that, bro. We push our luck.
You just push your luck. You get greedy, bro. Everybody gets caught. Just get greedy. Dude, there was you and I both were at a place where we used to get comp tickets to a very specific theme park here locally. And then we stopped getting those tickets because someone there sold about $1.5 million to $2 million worth of tickets that they were stealing, and that is why we no longer got tickets.
I didn't know that.
Yes, this is what happened. Was through an audit, it was discovered that like an employee there, a ticket was done. It was selling. Remember, this is back when they would print them out and give them to you. Now it's like an online thing, but they used to print them out and give them to us.
Yeah.
They were stealing the box of all the tickets and then selling them, and it was like $1.5-2 million worth of tickets. She was stealing boxes of tickets and selling them on Craigslist or Facebook or whatever. And got away with it for a couple of years, but got greedy. Dude, that's a lot of tickets, man. You're stealing boxes of comp tickets at a time.
That's fucking nuts, dude.
And so we didn't get that.
Yeah, we lost that perk.
Yeah, that's why we can't have nice things, man. People just. I also I have some hookups that I'm pretty sure on certain things might be on wings too. That I know. I won't ask any questions because I don't want to know. But I know shit ain't on the up and up.
We are not in Chicago, people.
We're in Boston.
How we doing on time, bro?
We're right at an hour. We're about to hit an hour right now, man.
All right. You want to close it out?
Let's do it.
Let's close it out. Yo, I saw this thing recently. There's a book, and it's called "The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying."
Ooh.
And it's a book by a person named Bronnie Ware, and it's a memoir of that recounts her years of caregiving, like to the dying, and the wisdom that she received from these people. So I think she worked like in a nursing home.
Nursing home. Okay.
And so, number one, I wish I had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Number two, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Number three, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Number four, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends.
Ooh.
And number five, I wish I had let myself be happier. And while you guys let that shit marinate, I actually kind of tied this into, I saw a LinkedIn post today by a former coworker of ours, actually,
Okay.
Mr. John Galloway. I got to give him his props. He actually got, it was like a short interview, and he got asked a question of what advice would you give to your younger self? And John has been in executive level positions in multiple corporate companies.
Yeah, he's the CEO now of a major.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah.
So
of a major beverage company.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I listened to the interview and it was pretty cool, man, because he goes, I never regretted taking any vacations. I never regretted spending time with friends and family. And I never regretted doing things for my own well-being. And he goes, I can't say that about, regretting like being at work. He kind of talked about, hey, sometimes you don't take that vacation because you have these upcoming projects and these things that are work related, and you go, man, I can't leave right now. Like this thing is pressing, and we have to get this done. And he looks at that and he goes like, I'm never gonna look back and say, damn, I wish I would have stayed for that project. Or damn, I wish I would have worked a couple extra hours. Or damn, I should have, whatever it is that's kind of work related. And he's like, on the contrary, it's all the shit that you do personally. He talked about like he's training for another marathon, but he's like all the things that he did for himself, for his well-being. And training his body and whatever. Like he never regretted that, never regretted spending time with friends and family, and never regretted a single vacation that he took away from work. So that was, and so I think those two things kind of tied together for me, man. And it was, that part where he was like, the advice you give to your younger self. And it's like, man, we need to hear that shit. And you need to hear that shit no matter what stage in your life that you are, right? Because we need those reminders, man. We get into those daily grinds, and whether it's a grind at home or whether it's a grind at work, and the normal day-to-day routines that we engulf ourselves in, and sometimes we sometimes we forget to take time for ourselves. We forget to reach out to the people that we love. How many times have I thought about somebody and I go, oh, you know what? I got to call that person, and then I don't fucking do it. And then, I've had a recent regret that I told you about, right? It was a family member that I was like, oh, I got to call that person back. I didn't, and they died. And then the vacations, right? The vacations that we put off because we can't because of work, and it's bullshit, bro. We can do these things. Yeah. We can take the vacations. We can reach out to our friends. We can, we can have the courage to live a life that's true to yourself. You can. All that shit we can, and we put off. And it's just like, and Gary Vee says this shit all the time. He's like, don't, spend time with people, with old people, because you'll find that a lot of them live with regret. And it's like, that should be the goal in your life. It's like, don't live with regret.
Yeah, dude. I mean, those 5 things I think are man, it's funny, almost all of them are things that I've been, I don't want to say struggling with lately, but
We all do, bro.
Aware of, and I guess struggle is the right word. Like, very aware of that I'm not doing well at those things, and so I think hyper aware and sensitive of that stuff, and like figuring out like how do I sort of navigate that and move into like I guess taking action on those things, if you will. But dude, and I will say like I can't remember what it was, but it was recently, within the last few weeks. I think you text me randomly like, hey, are you doing all right? And I think it was bizarre because it was probably one of those days where I was like, probably not. And then I was like, oh shit. And there was just like something for that where I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I don't even want to say like, oh, somebody cares, but it was just that like, it was just weird because in that moment it was like, oh shit, like I wouldn't have expected that. And I was like, nah, I was probably having like a little bit, but it was like that message just made me like, oh, okay, cool. Like it did kind of like,
it's like somebody checking on you.
Yeah, and it's amazing how somebody just checking on you sort of, it I don't want to say it made the things go away, but it sort of helped put things in perspective and did like, I guess recenter me, if you will. And it was just weird. It was weird. It was just out of nowhere. It's like one of those things. So I was like, I mean, I think you do.
I remember that day.
Yeah,
I remember that day. I don't even remember why I did it.
Yeah, and it came at a time where I probably needed that. And it was just like, dope. And I remember just going like, oh shit, like that was cool. And then it sort of like helped, I think, put some shit in perspective for me. And then like, because it's something that we mention all the time. I was like, you're really good about doing that. And, we talked about your situation. And I think, all of us, we try to, I guess, be better or do these things. But I think just getting these reminders and taking action on them.
We need constant reminders, bro. We need constant reminders.
Because we want to be, right? It's just that, we need the reminders.
And I think I commented on his post, which I was like, man, like even us old heads, like we need to hear that. So it's not just your younger self, right? We need to remind ourselves. We need to remind our now selves of that shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure, man. And it's weird that you were talking about like, work projects and all that stuff. I don't remember what I did 6 months ago in terms of like a day that I stayed for a deadline and you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you're definitely not going to remember that 20 years from now or whatever, but you're going to remember missing like your kid's recital, and you're going to remember, and they're certainly going to remind you of it all the time. Right. And you're going to remember maybe not going on a vacation that you really wanted to go. And it's all these things. I think we get caught up in what we think is important now. And in reality, I think we know it's really not. But I think we let sort of the noise around us.
We convince ourselves, bro.
Consume us, yeah.
Yep.
For sure.
All right, man. On that, tell them where they can find us.
If you're not already following at the Carbon Footprint Podcast on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, at Carbon FP Pod on X, the Carbon Footprint Podcast on TikTok, and then anywhere where you get your audio. So Spotify, Apple Podcasts, make sure you leave us a review on there. We're on Amazon Music now as well. Stitcher, GeoSav, actually not Stitcher, they closed down, but GeoSav in Ghana, TuneIn, Podchaser, Audible. Yeah, tell your smart device to play us. They'll do it if you can't find us. We're pretty much on everything. And we're on I should really like have a list that we have out here, because there's a bunch of other things that I've never heard of, like or I just don't use, and I assume other people don't use that I leave out on here. But we're on a lot of shit. Like, if it exists, we're probably on it. Yeah. We're on, we put that feed out there on a lot of stuff. So
absolutely,
look for us everywhere. And if we're not on something that you like to use, drop us a note and we'll get the feed up there.
And as always, we appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.